Julie, it's just so wonderful that you could talk with us here. This concert that's upcoming at the Dallas Winds means a lot to everybody because it's going to be live on stage at the Meyerson with real people. And
Yeah, that is very, very exciting. I'm about on the same schedule as Jerry. I think it's been a year and 7 days or 8 days, maybe. I'm not sure since I had a live performance, and that was at American Bandmasters, ABA, in fact. And so yeah, it's been really crazy as far as just because my schedule was so just like Jerry's, just full, and then to just go to a complete stop has been really strange. It's actually made composing very difficult because you don't have any hard deadlines. Everything just keeps getting pushed back. And I mean, I've canceled concerts at Kennedy and Lincoln Center and Carnegie Hall, and it's just nonstop. I'm supposed to be in Spain right now, and so it's crazy. But I think there a lot of good music has come out of it. There's certainly been a big focus on smaller groups, like what the concert is going to be. So I mean, I would have never set out to write for 12 players, but now with this, I have, and it's been a good experience um, in the ways that you have to think in a different manner and approach things in a different manner. The piece that they're going to be playing, Nihonbashi, is the second movement from my fourth symphony, which is Bookmarks from Japan, and it's when I was doing the symphony, I wanted to be sure that every single movement captured a different aspect of Japanese life. And the bookmarks already did that very well. And so I just had to adapt the music right. And so I ended up publishing six movements, but I wrote 14. So
oh,
I know, really, it's crazy. But when you're writing a symphony and all of the movements have to play well with each other, sometimes you get done with one and then you write another one and you go, oh no, that one doesn't work. And it's kind of like when you're decorating your house. When you paint the walls, you realize, oh my gosh, I have to have new floors, or I need a new rug, or oh now I need to paint the ceiling. It's the same way. So uh, that movement I never changed. That movement was the way it was, and I never had to alter it. And I'm a big Granger fan,
uh-huh.
and so how Percy's approach to songs. And so I thought, well, I wanted this movement to have that folklore feel, since none of the other movements have that feel. And I wanted to sound like it could have been something from that same time era, of course, in the tonal modes of Japanese music. And so that's what it is. And I've been there many times, and whenever I go, I always try to go to the bridge. And what's so interesting about the bridge is that every mile marker in Japan starts at the center of that bridge. And so it's basically the center of Japan. And hundreds of years ago, it was a fish market. And the very first department store that was ever built in Japan was built right there. Now it's pretty much the center of the business district, and it's just an amazing thing. It's I just wanted it to have that feel, since it has been such a big part of Japanese culture for so long. And so I wrote a little tune, so the melody is just it's short and light, and then I just wanted to address it kind of like you would see at an open market where people are yelling the price of their fish or whatever. And so the piece has that nice lilt to it, and the bartering of people back and forth and yelling at each other, and that was pretty much the feel I wanted. And so I adapted it for a smaller group because I felt like it could work very well for, especially for woodwinds. And so that's the piece that Jerry decided to play of mine. And so uh, I think it's interesting. I mean, it's a fun piece, and it sounds almost like it could have been written at any time period, really.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I mean, it's charming if you don't mind me saying that. And you're right, it's fun and it has a timelessness to it. It's very active and alive, and that's a lot to be able to create. And what, it's quite short, right? About 6 minutes or something. I can't remember how long, but it's rather short, right?
Yes, I mean, I can't remember where I parked my car, so I couldn't tell you how long. I couldn't tell you how long it is. I really don't remember. I write 2 to 3 hours of music a year, so a lot of times I can be sitting at a concert and somebody will say something to me, and I wouldn't have even recognized my own music. So yeah, and you know what's funny? When I first started orchestrating for Bill Conti in films, he couldn't recognize his own music either, and I thought, what? And at the time I thought, how do you not recognize your own music? And I used to make fun of him and everything else. And now here I am at his age when he was doing that. And, and I do the same thing. Uh,
Oh,
but yeah, it's a fun piece. It has a nice bounce to it. And, I'm very, very comfortable writing in those, modal tones of all of the Asian modes. I'm really super comfortable at it. I don't even have to think about it. I can just immediately just write and know that it sounds very traditional. I haven't even really given serious thought to it, the technical aspect of it. I just do it.
and now you say you've been there several times to Japan. How did all that begin? Does that go back to your childhood, or what's the backstory there?
Well, there's really no backstory. Band music actually took me there, and I think the first time I went on tour with a Musashino group. Ray Kramer was the conductor, and I was on a 10-day tour with Chris Martin, the first year trumpet, New York, and he that was the first time I actually met him too, and that was about, I don't know how many years ago that was, 10 or 12. And then then I met Chris, of course, and then Chris said, "I love your music and write for me." So a few years later, I went back, and Chris and I went back and premiered my trumpet concerto. And I've it's band music that has brought me there so many times, so many concerts, and I've had so many pieces premiere there uh, because of Ray Kramer in big part. Um, and I don't know that much about their market or how they decide what music they're going to play. I just know that they play a lot of my music, and I'm so grateful. But it has taken me there, and I love it. I love being there, and I could easily live there. So it's really fun. But it was really fun to visit all the places that there are the actual bookmarks,
Yeah.
and which I've done and several times. So it's fun. I mean, I'm not. I actually can't even remember what brought me there, but I love the culture. I love their music. I love. I feel comfortable there every time I'm there. I feel safe too. I don't ever feel like anything is as bad as going to happen to me ever. I mean, I just it's very fun. But I wish I spoke more Japanese, because I tell you, it is so easy to get lost there. And you're on that train and it's going 300 miles an hour. You can certainly wind up in some part of the country you didn't even mean to go to. So it's very, very fun. And I always bring back stuff from Japan for my friends and family. And I don't know, it's fun. But I mean, to get back to the concert, I think Jerry's, ha- I think the Dallas Winds is such an icon in the band world, that for them to give a live concert, even in a diminished capacity, is kind of like seeing the light at the end of the tunnel for a lot of us. And so many people are going to enjoy, even if they can't see or don't see or hear the concert, just knowing that it happened is going to make a lot of people feel like there's a lot of hope. And so that's exciting in itself. And I certainly can't wait until we get back to doing full blown concerts.
Right. Oh, it's a beautiful step though. And you said that so in such a poetic manner, because and everybody's endeavor, no matter who, no matter what age, whether you're 14 or whether you're someone in your 80s wanting to get back to your grandchildren, there's this and you're right, and music ought to be part of that light at the end of the tunnel, and in this case it really is.
Yes, it definitely is. I mean, I think when it first started happening, it scared me that music was going to, because I knew and I could see that music was going to take it very, very hard because we are such a public, involved art. And, it's not like an art exhibit. It
Right.
is what you can see online. It's very, very different. Music, although we can all listen to music and we hear it all the time, not in a live fashion, but to hear it live is the ultimate. And it has hit the arts very, very hard, especially the performing arts, all performing arts. And I think I think when it first started, I knew that it was going to be bad, and it scared me that public schools would take the opportunity to get rid of music programs because it's like, okay, here we go. We can stop doing this, and it scared me. And I was already ready and waiting with the social media blitz to actually take the arts away from everybody for a 24-hour period and let them see what their life is like without movies and music and television and radio and Wi-Fi, and let them really experience what it's like so that they didn't take us away. But what's great is that never happened, and it is because people realized, I think, more and than ever, how much their life is changed by the arts. Because being isolated, the arts can still involve you mentally, physically, and emotionally, and take you places without ever leaving your home. And whether that be a movie or music or art or ballet, it's a beautiful thing. And I don't know how people before this day and age could have tolerated life that we've had to go through the past year without, the arts, which they would have had to do.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's been eye opening, and it certainly made all of us come to realize we will never take what we do for granted again.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And it's just, I laugh and I feel so, I can't stop myself from smiling, knowing that someday in the hopefully near future, we'll all be back out and doing what we did before. And that's
Yeah.
hope is a big thing.
It is. It is. And you always have to look for those silver linings. And as an historian, it's easy to look back for me and say, yeah, well, you can look back 500 years. I'm sure you do that too, or 200, and see these bright things coming out of dark times. But we're right there at that. We're living it. And you said that so beautifully too. We were talking a little bit before, and you were telling me how you are a nocturnal composer, which has got to be a pretty interesting thing. You work the night shift basically, and yet it's kind of been the night shift for the past year, hasn't it? I mean,
Yeah, it does. It definitely has been one long, long, dark night that has lasted a year. But yes, I enjoy writing at night, and and I have to write at night. I don't. I'm not sure why a composer or an author or anybody else creates at night or during the day. I just know that I am absolutely committed to late day, all night writing. And I can actually listen to music and can tell very, very easily whether that composer is a night writer or a day writer. It's very, very
really,
clear. Yes, absolutely. It's to me, it's very obvious. I mean, the ultimate example would be Bach. So precise, so he's a day writer. And in fact, you even know he's a morning writer because it is just like scheduled clockwork. And then if you listen to, I won't even use myself as example, to Wagner, you can realize that there's an absolute madness there. And I mean,
Yeah,
it's
no, it's true. It's true.
it's true, and there, it's, I don't know, I'm not sure why, but I do know everybody knows that you can have a problem at 2 in the afternoon, and you're going to address it one way, but if you have that same problem at 2 o'clock in the morning, it's going to seem like the end of the world. So there's just something that the night lets your imagination go absolutely crazy.
Oh,
And so I enjoy writing at night, and the phone doesn't ring, and I can't mow the yard, and so I'm kind of hostage anyway, so I might as well spend it writing.
wow. Do you think there's a special peace in the middle of the night that you could not find, or that manifests itself in some aspects of your music due to that sense of night stillness? Or
Oh, absolutely. And because I'm a very emotionally based writer. I mean, I when I'm writing a piece, I eat, sleep, and drink it, and not just the actual composing part, but I surround myself in it. Like when I was doing a piece that was about young Superman, all on my walls I had picture of Superman, and so it was just everywhere I looked was Superman. And you can impose pictures on your staff paper while you're writing, so you never forget what you're supposed to be writing about. And but yes, there's a certain, so emotionally I feel so calm and quiet when you look out the window and you hear a train in the distance, and you know that everyone is sleeping, and there's a peace that comes at night that isn't during the day.
right.
And so when I'm really focusing in on that piece, uh, night is perfect for that. And so is the rain, though. I mean, I write best when it's raining too.
At
Uh,
night.
yeah,
That's
I mean,
perfect. All right.
yeah. So if it's during the day and it's raining, it has the same feel. So if it's raining during the afternoon, I'll write during the afternoon because it's raining. But yeah, there is something about the night that, as a creative person, I don't know. It's just you're at liberty to be whatever you want to be at night, and I just love it. I mean,
I'm thinking of all the teenagers who are in the band who will be hearing this, whose lives are bound up in music. And a lot of teens, I was not, but a whole lot of teens are very much nocturnal creatures, right? They would easily love to keep your schedule. And one of them's got to be saying, there's hope for me, right? I
yeah,
grew up, I can do this, right?
yeah. I mean, if you're in the creative arts and you're an actual, whether you're writing books or you're writing music or painting, yeah. I mean, there's a night for you. There's a life for you at night for sure.
Oh,
Uh,
fun.
uh,
When you were that age of the high schoolers and the middle schoolers and even the upper elementary band kids that come so wonderfully to so many concerts, but the Dallas Winds, sometimes Meyerson will have 10, 12, 14 bands. It's just absolutely fabulous to have all these kids. But when you were in those periods of your life, could you have envisioned how your life would have unfolded through music?
No, no, I had no clue this was what I was going to do for a living. I really didn't. I didn't even major in composition. I mean, even through college, I thought I was going to be a professional horn player, and I already had a professional gig in a professional orchestra all through college. So I did not know I was going to be this. I did know I was going to be in music. And I started at such a young age, playing and writing. And once I found band in the fifth grade, I was like, oh, look at this, And we moved around a lot, as I was growing up. So it was my safe place anyway. But soon as I found band, it was like I found other people that loved music like I did. And so immediately, as soon as I got into junior high band, I started writing for junior high band. And when I was in high school, I wrote high school level pieces. And the first piece I ever published, I wrote when I was 12. For band, and it was published by Southern Music Company. And Yes, I mean, that's where I grew up in the band room.
We're 12. That's fabulous.
I mean, I love the band, and and I think that's why even though, through all the Hollywood stuff and commercial music, that I have gravitated back towards band, because it's more difficult to write for band than it is for orchestra, because it's winds. You have to consider that they have to breathe, and there's just all kinds of considerations. There's a lot of instruments that don't play well with others in certain areas, and so there's a lot to be learned there. But I guess it was fate for me to end up being back where I started. And there's I work with all kinds of groups, whether they're orchestral or rock bands or whatever they are. And my favorite are band people.
Oh,
And it's there's just something about the community that I love. And it's been the best decision I ever made, really.
oh, well, you're talking to people who are loving hearing that and who share that passion. And I think you're really right. This is going to be, as you said, iconic. A green light, a flag waving. The clouds are breaking. The sun is beginning to break through, and this concert's going to be there for everyone, no matter where you are. And your piece is right there, something that you love, that really is deep in your experience. I don't see how it gets any better than that. I really don't.
No, it doesn't. I mean, there have been a lot of crazy things happen during all of this. I mean, I also had my music played at the inauguration, and it was played when they announced Kamala Harris. And so it was the first time a woman's music had ever been played in a presidential inauguration. And so it's not like there hasn't been anything that's happened to me in this dark time, but it's been there have been so many firsts that it was nice to have a good first. But I think this concert, it's kind of like the hedgehog or whatever what is that animal that comes out, that's whether
The
they say
groundhog. The
the
groundhog.
groundhog. Yeah, so it's kind of like Dallas Wins is going to be our metaphor for the groundhog not seeing his shadow, and
Amen.
spring, and we
I
can
like.
all run around now. So it's just going to give us all hope. And I mean, I don't think there's any group of people that need that hope more than performing musicians who haven't been able to perform for so long. Uh,
Yeah. That's wonderful. I see poster art coming out of this too with the groundhog now. Well, I just want to thank you for your time and for the fact that you've had this extraordinary career. I mean, we didn't speak a lot about the roles and the paths you have forged for so many women composers, because this is certainly the era, and you have certainly been right in the center of things that would have been impossible in my generation. So, a tip of hat and thank you for that. I'm sure you must look upon that as a very special mission that you've had.
yeah, it's funny because I did grow up a brass player, a female brass player. I was already used to being the only girl around a bunch of guys, starting from, junior high. So I think when I first started writing in Los Angeles in 1985, I was the only woman orchestrator, period. That was it. And I was the only one for 9 years.
Wow.
And so it was I was so busy, and I was working the entire time so hard that I didn't really have time to sit back and go wonder where the other women were. I was just trying to be sure I was getting my music done every night for the next morning's recording sessions. And so I really didn't have a lot of thought. But then when I won my first Emmy, it was like, you're the first woman that's ever won this. And I thought, how is that possible? And I think as women, every time we hear a first, our first instinct isn't to go, yay. Our first instinct is, how is that possible that this is the first time it's ever happened? Every single time. And so, I was the first woman composer abducted into ABA. And it is like, again, I'm like, how is this possible? So yeah, I think, I mean, we all celebrate it, but I think each time it happens, there's a big part of us that just go, Oh my gosh, and then we celebrate. So,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
but it's great. And I think it gives youth a big, I mean, I get the emails all the time from young women, whether they're composers or whether they want to go into film or whatever it may be. And, and they say that I'm their role model in that respect. And I'm always taken back by that because, I'm myself, and, I think we're always so hard on yourself. You're like, oh,
Exactly.
please don't follow in my footsteps. But it's, when I look back on it, I didn't have that.
No.
I didn't have a woman composer I could look up to, or a woman orchestrator, or a woman anything. I
Right.
mean, there wasn't even a woman I could have studied with. So, uh, I mean, I'm honored that I can blaze that trail, and I'm so glad that they have many choices now.
Yes.
A young woman in junior high who wants to be a composer has plenty of women that they can look at now,
Right.
and know that they can make it. And not have to sit there and go, well, there aren't. I don't know of any, so I don't know that that's possible. So yeah, it's opened a lot of doors, I think, for a lot of people, and I think all of us, whether you're a man or a woman, we just try to make the world a better place than it was yesterday, and that's kind of the goal I have every day. Especially with composing, I want to be a better composer today than I was yesterday, and I think those type of personalities, which you have, which Jerry has, we you're changing the world and you don't even know you are. Um, and it's a beautiful thing.
I really do thank you for your time in making this possible, and we're very grateful to you. So,
Oh no, thanks. The honor is all mine.
all
Thank
right,
you.
well, let's just keep on keeping on, okay?
Yeah, that's all we can do. And good luck with the 5-year-old. Good luck.
Good luck with everybody's 5-year-olds, right? Good
Yeah,
luck to all those band kids out there. Good luck to all of us, and
yeah.
may we all be blessed by this. Well,
It's,
thank you, and I'll see you and look forward to the next time.
all right. Thank you. You have a great night.
You as well. Bye.